Hello? Hello? Claire?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Vincent, and everyone.
Okay, let's do the beginning stuff as usual. So, guys, I am on partial shadow ban. Sometimes you can find my videos, sometimes you can't. You can't ever find the first three. So, if you're having trouble finding my videos, go to vincentbrunoshadowban.blogspot.com. It's at the bottom of the screen and it's in the description box. And so I'm gonna go spread the link. Claire, can you spread the link for this video?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna go do that and I'm gonna put it up on the website. So today we're gonna talk about this dumb bitch, Maria Jaramillo Niel. Have you seen me fighting with her?
On your timeline, yes.
Yeah, well, she's a fucking bitch. She's a fucking bitch. I mean, she's a typical heterosexual. I mean, she's so disgusting. She's so fucking disgusting.
What's the most disgusting thing she said?
It's not what she says, it's how she behaves and what she doesn't say.
Do tell.
So, um, she's a Hindu. She's a Mexican who converted to Hinduism.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like exposing all this bullshit about Hinduism. And like she won't denounce any of it. Like she won't be like, "Oh, Devi Dasi's wrong," or "caste violence is wrong," or "misogyny is wrong," or "homophobia is wrong." She won't like. She just won't come out and say it, and she's just attacking me. And for the longest time, I was like, "Oh, like she made me feel and think that she wasn't homophobic." And I was like, well, look, you have this Hindu friend who's homophobic and this Hindu friend who's homophobic, and they say this and they say that, and you stay friends with them. And like, she was just like, oh, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I pushed it and I pushed it and I pushed it. And it turns out she's really homophobic. She was like letting me believe that, she wasn't homophobic, but, she was just being a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's really disgusting is that I was saying Hindu was homophobic. And she was like, "Oh no, it's not." And then she's a homophobe. So doesn't that prove my point?
Well, does Hinduism have a settled view about homosexuality?
A lot of them hate homosexuals. It's not 100% settled, but it's about 50% settled, and that's enough. It's 50% settled, and that's 50% is enough. If there's ever a question, it's enough. It's too much. If there's ever a question, it's too much. Are you there, Claire? What happened? Hello? I don't know where she went. What's in the comment? Hi, Judith Flies here. I don't know where Claire just went. Um, Judith Fly, I'm a little bit upset with you. You're not really being forthcoming with, you're not being very charismatic with your Noahide evangelism and, kind of teacherness that you're supposed to be doing. I'm a little bit disappointed in your tactics. I guess, yeah, the problem is Jews don't know how to evangelize their religion, or so they don't know how to evangelize the Noahide laws. So you need the Gentiles to do it for you. Oh wait, Claire, yeah, Claire dropped out. You need, what is he saying? Today is birthday of Lubavitch Rebbe. Yeah, I saw that. That proclamation didn't say anything about the Noahide laws, so it's useless. It's useless. Who cares? Who cares? You're celebrating the rabbi's birthday. The rabbi's birthday. It should be about the no-hide laws. The Lubovichers got scared. They had the no-hide laws in there for a decade or more. It's a big deal. And you know what? Well, Chabad is not doing their job of spreading the Noahide laws because they're scaredy cats, and that's why the Jews are losing control of the new Noahide movement to people like Alan Cecil, okay, and to other Noahides. I've been talking to a lot of Noahides, and a lot of them are saying we don't even need the fucking rabbis. This is what's going to happen to Jews, that you created this monster, you let it out on the world, and then you thought you were going to remain in control, but that's not how it works, and that's not even how it's meant to work. You're just supposed to impart the information, and the Gentiles are supposed to go set up all these courts and cause all these problems. So good for you for losing control because you released a monster that you were too cowardly to control. Claire says maybe we should retitle the stream Education Sharing Day 2023. No, because we were talking about Jaramillo, whatever her name is, Maria Jaramillo Niel. Okay, well, there. Why aren't you coming on, Claire? There. Let's talk about this Maria Jaramillo Neal. So we're talking about Education and Sharing Day. So this is something. This is what I'm talking about. That the government on Education and Sharing Day in the past, on 12 occasions and in 5 proclamations, said that the Noahide laws are the foundation of American civilization. Killing idolaters, blasphemers, and homosexuals is the foundation of American civilization. Are you kidding me? And then you just want to wonder why I, as a homosexual, am upset by that statement. My government, my president, and my Congress made this statement, but you're a homophobe, and so you don't care because killing homosexuals doesn't bother you that much because you don't like them anyway. You wouldn't stop people from killing homosexuals. That's why you're not gonna stop the no-hide laws because you really don't mind if they come to fruition. It's not gonna bother you if it got to that point. No matter what you say, if you dislike us, you don't care what happens to us. So, and don't say you don't dislike us. I read what you said. You said if I had principles, I would live a celibate life. So you think I'm unprincipled simply because who I sleep with, yet you cannot condemn Devidasi and child prostitution, pedophilia, misogyny, uh, uh, rape, you know, Dolly caste violence, killing low caste people for drinking from upper caste wells, killing intercaste marriages. Like, these are just things that you can't bring yourself to condemn because it's from your precious Hindu religion. But I'm an unprincipled person because of who I sleep with. You're a typical you're just a typical heterosexual, just like a hypocrite lying. You let me believe that you were not homophobic and just illogical. You would have to be a fucking idiot to fall for what you're peddling and not see through you. But you're so stupid. You're such a stupid heterosexual. You're so stupid. You can't even comprehend that anyone is smart. And so you think you could talk to homosexuals who are smarter than you like this, and we're not going to see through you, and you can. And even when we can see through you, you're too dumb to know you've been caught. You're an animal. You don't have real logic or rationale. You're not a human being. Rename the stream Day 60 of Becoming a Jew. Stephen J. James, do you want to come in? I'll send you the thing on no, hello? Hello? Oh, hello? Good. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm gonna send it here in the comments. I'm gonna post the stream link. Oh, it's Jarmillo. Oh, I have to share this later. Jarmillo just disgusting, freaking disgusting Jarmilla. Maria Jarmillo Neil just commented on my post. Uh Stephen J. James, the yard link is in the thing. Claire, why aren't you coming on? Where's Claire? I don't know where they went. But yeah, well, and she's also a good representation of a Hindu nationalist, and she's homophobic and ugly and dumb and heterosexist and transphobic and an asshole and a hypocrite, just like William Seaborn, who she loves. William Seaborn's been, oh, I love animals, but doesn't want to ban animal sacrifice in Hinduism. They're all the same. These people are all disgusting. Okay, Claire has to wait for her computer to reboot to come on. Claire says, I'm protecting LGBTQs from being executed under the Noahide by promoting secular Quranism instead. Well, secular Quranism. Secular Quranism. What is anyone to do? What are we to do about secular Quranism? Well, Claire will be back on in a second. Maybe Stephen J. James will be here. We'll read the next thing in You Gentiles. Let's see what the next. Let's see what the next. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, let's see what we're reading now. We're reading Discipline, which might. Let's see how this fits in with Maria Jaramillo Neil, because we're gonna kind of talk about her on this stream a little bit more, and let's just see how this chapter, anything in here. So basically, Maria, if you've been following us while we're reading You Gentiles, um, he's just been trashing Gentiles like, you stupid, ugly Gentiles. See, I've been telling everyone I'm a Judaized Gentile. Okay, I took Rabbi Harry Watton's advice and I took on the virtues of the Jews without the vices. So I'm a Judaized Gentile, but you're not a Judaized Gentile. You're a Noahide because you're just a slave. You haven't Judaized. You weren't smart enough to Judaize. You just you just accepted the Noahide laws, but you didn't Judaize. So you're lower than a Jew. But as a Gentile who's Judaized, um, I'm higher than a Jew and I'm higher than you. And but anyway, the point is that we've been reading this book, You Gentiles, by Maurice Samuel, and we've been learning all the most disgusting things that's about the Gentiles and how useless and trashy they are, like you. And that's why you're such a dumb bitch. Is Claire back yet? Or is anyone here? Why is no one here? Why is nobody here? Hmm. Oh, actually, let me spread this link to Maria now. Let's spread this link to Maria now. Here's the link. Where'd it go? What? Oh, I made a mistake here. No wonder. Hold on one second. I gotta spread the link. I gotta put it on my website too. Got it. She said I would be a fucking celibate. Is she fucking retarded? She just wants me to be like some like slave to society where I don't like have live my own sexual desires, but like I sublimate my gay genius to be, you know, I sublimate, like some kind of like monk, celibate, like dedicating my life to the church or something like that, or to society. How fucked up. You know, gay people are smart and creative and industrious and really good at doing stuff. And like these ugly fucking heterosexuals want us to be like their monk slave servants to their social order, their backward, bigoted, disgusting social order that breeds creatures like Maria Jaramillo Niel. She's hideous. She's disgusting. She accused me of being fat, ugly, and old. She's fat, ugly, and old as fuck. I'm fat, ugly, and old. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I don't usually body shame people, but you're a fucking hideous piece of shit. Your skin is all pitted. It's disgusting. You look like a fucking hippopotamus. You're just vile. And then you converted to the most vile religion. You have the most vile religion. You support the most vile things. You can't even bring yourself to denounce the most vile things. When are you going to clean up your own religion? You have no right to run around talking about other people's religions being full of pedophiles and everything like that when your religion is full of garbage like that. Yeah, listen,
Are you
Rabbi
getting
gets
a
up.
bit too personal?
No, I hate this bitch. No, this is exactly. Rabbi Yitzhak Berkowitz advises that gays devote themselves to the needs of the community. Yes, this is what people think that we're put here on this planet to do, to fucking be celibates and work for you. And this is what this fucking cunt Maria Jaramillo thinks in her head. Who the fuck is this fat, ugly, dumb, ugly, disgusting bitch that thinks that I'm here to serve her and her children?
Is she still your Facebook friend?
Yes, but she's a fucking bitch.
Hmm.
She's a fucking bitch and she's a tacit Noahide because she thinks I'm just crazy for like, telling or talking about this in the Hindu community and being like Noahidism is spreading because it is. There's 70,000 Noahides in India and there's like, there's a lot of I have the whole Noahide India watch.blogspot.com and half Noahide watch.blogspot.com and they had lots of movements. And, she's like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy." I'm just showing the facts that it's there. Are you people dumb? Are you dense?
Oh, nobody can take no hydism seriously, whatever their race.
70,000 people. Look, if you grew from almost nothing to 70,000 people in 20 years, then you've got something going on for you.
Oh, we don't know the quality of these people. I mean, they must be Islamophobes.
No, then they just don't want. They don't want. Just because you prefer Torah doesn't mean you're an Islamophobe.
Well, it kind of does if you know the Torah will give you death penalties, even when,
No, maybe.
especially when Islam doesn't.
Oh, Claire, I don't want to hear about people don't want to get beheaded for incest. Like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that people want to practice idolatry. I don't want to hear that. Anyone who's interested in monotheism wants those death penalties, and Islam doesn't have them, and Islam is inferior. I don't want to talk anymore about how because if you don't want liberalism, then you're an Islamophobe. Like, no, maybe they just don't want idolatry, Claire.
Well,
Maybe they actually have principles and they believe that God actually hates idolatry, and so do they, and that it's a punishable offense by death. Maybe they just believe that they're not Islamophobes. They just look at Islamophobes as
yeah, yeah,
Islam is
okay, find me
unprincipled.
one. Find me a no-hide who says, yes, it's our intention to execute blasphemers and Islamophobes. You won't be able to do that.
Not Islamophobes. I said idolaters.
Okay, I meant, can you find me a no-hide who unashamedly says he wants to execute idolaters and blasphemers? That was what I meant to say.
Well, I can find you Noahides that quote the literature that says that's what the command is. Yes, I can do that.
Okay, well, I would like to meet them, and you can't find me a single one of them.
Okay, well, I'll go
They're
start.
always flaky and kind of not there when you want to ask them questions. And
No, Claire, you're
today,
just no, Claire. I mean, you just degrade every single. You want everyone to believe that there's not a single cogent thinking Noahide out there that has any wits to them, and that they're all retarded, and they all have substandard IQ.
yes,
And
that's what
no,
I believe.
Claire, they're smarter at you. They've read Talmud deeper than you have, so they have to be smarter than you.
Well, I don't meet any of them. They're all a bit
Well, you don't
crazy.
even look for them. You don't even look
I
for them.
try, and
No,
when I
you
do,
don't.
they're just really stupid.
Well, I don't even try looking for them, and I meet them in their groups all the time. So I don't understand why you can't just go into
Why
their
can't you
groups and
introduce me to
why
the
don't you
people?
just go
Invite
into
them on
their
your
group? Just
show.
why don't you? Well, Claire, they don't really want
They
to
don't like
interact with.
you.
Yeah, so why don't you just go in there and start asking questions? And you refuse to do it because you don't want the answers, because you don't
Well,
want
I
to be
want to out
confronted
and
with
see
people who are
still.
intelligent. No, you no go and join 100 Noahide groups. Go into each group, post all of your questions, and then you'll probably get 20 to 30 responses in total, and you can sift through all of that.
I sort of did, and it was really disappointing. Is there a group that you would invite me to? And if you do, I'll do my stuff. So I
I don't
want you
have a
to
particular
see.
group. All I do is post in the groups. I don't read anything that they write in the groups. I don't involve myself with them. They all know who I am. They're not gonna like, they know who I am. So what's the point of me trying to beguile them? I mean, I'm not gonna be doing that. So you're gonna have to go do the work yourself, but it's not hard. Just type in Noahide, go to all of the Noahide groups, join them all, and start posting your questions, and that's it. And join
I
Noahide
don't,
pages.
okay. I don't care about them. I prefer the narrative that they're useless and stupid. And if you're trying to say no, they're not all stupid, then I guess the highest person you can refer to is Alan Cecil, and he's a nobody who wrote a very long book.
He's not a nobody in the Noahide community. People know
Well,
who he is.
nobody respects him, and ultimately,
Noahides tell me
no
they respect him all the
Gentile.
time. No rabbi. Okay, this is the thing. No, Alan Cecil is not the only Noahide that says fuck the rabbis. We don't need the fucking rabbis. There's other Noahides that say fuck the rabbis. We don't need the fucking rabbis, and they like Alan Cecil. Noahides like Alan Cecil. I don't care what the
Yeah, but
fucking rabbis want.
Gentiles won't take these no-hides seriously.
Noahide Gentiles will take each other seriously. What is that noise?
It's a vacuum cleaner being used by somebody else.
Um, Claire, and who's going to take you seriously exactly?
Well, my ideas are reasonably well known. I do argue with people. I do
Oh,
take
please.
questions.
Secular Quranism is more known than Noahidism. That's in like every single Israeli
Yeah,
newspaper. That's in every single Israeli newspaper. That's known in the United Nations. Is there a Secular Quranist United Nations organization?
no, there isn't. But
Okay.
I'll be
Has
attaching myself to Islam for the purposes of notoriety.
Yeah, but people don't know about secular Quranism. You don't. The government hasn't recognized you. The UN hasn't. The Vatican hasn't recognized you. Freemasonry hasn't recognized you. All of these big, powerful organizations that have recognized Noahide know absolutely nothing about you, Claire.
Okay, but the thing is that there are no hides prepared to engage with me.
Yes, there
All
are. You just don't like
stupid.
their answers. You don't like their
I can't
answers.
even approach any of them to get as far as asking questions. They are literally retarded.
Yeah, Claire, keep telling yourself that. This is an excuse just for you.
Alexander Nelson is one. You introduced him to me,
Well,
and
he left. He's no longer a Noahide.
yeah, they're all a bit flaky. The people that you know, apart from myself, of course.
Excuse me, I haven't introduced you to that many Noahides because I'm not friends with that many Noahides. Alexander Nelson was the only Noahide I was like friendly with. All the other ones are my enemies. I mean, they're not gonna. I don't real, and I wouldn't even approach them because they all know who I am.
All right, but I mean, you can't even sort of say a name like, oh, so and so is reputed to be, knowledgeable, whatever. Yes, you mentioned John Voight, but he's just not capable of it. If you look at his at his Twitter timeline, I'm afraid
What do you
that
mean
there
it's not
are.
care? Okay, you know what? You see, Claire, you don't see like okay. So we got our first major celebrity, Noahide, right? Okay, does secular Quranism have any major celebrity? No,
No, I'm the only one.
No, exactly. So we got our first. So you're saying, well, it's impossible that we're going to get a second, younger, more charismatic. It's impossible that this is going to grow. Okay, before you're like, oh, it's going to get where nowhere. It's going to get nowhere, and then it grows, and then there's a half a million of them, and then we have
I just
now we
want
have
to meet one. Okay, that's all I want. I'm not asking for
Go
that
look
much.
go look for them, Claire. I'm not doing that work for you because I already told you why I'm not because they all
Okay,
hate me. So I'm not
okay.
doing that work for
Just
you.
add me to the group that you are most active in, and I will
I'm
do
not
my
active
stuff.
in any groups. I barely post in them. I'm in them all. Just go, Claire. I have no clout or connection in any of these groups. So using me to do your work for you is not going to help you. Just go in. If you're dedicated, you'll be able to find it.
But you can't even think of a single person with a name that is prepared to take questions. And Alan Cecil is your best guy. And I've spoken to, well, not spoken, but
And
communicated
let
with
me tell you
Michael
something.
Schulman,
And let
who
me tell
was
you.
not impressed with him.
No, no, no. Michael Schulman said all Michael Schulman said is he didn't read the book because he felt insulted by Alan Cecil. He didn't say that he didn't support him or his ideas, and he didn't say that his ideas were wrong. He just said he never read the book because Alan Cecil attacked him. That's all that was said.
Well, I did respond and ask him what happened. But these people are basically flakes.
I know what happened. I can tell you exactly what happened. Alan Cecil cursed them out because he said you're teaching them to celebrate Adam and Eve's birthday, but you're not telling them to set up Noahide courts, so you're just useless. That's what Alan Cecil said, and that's true.
Well, I would argue that, that there are already courts in existence, and what you want is for the law of the land to incorporate no hide principles. I guess if that's what you're trying to promote.
When it
You
needs
don't
to
need
be,
the
it needs to
separate
be,
courts.
it needs to be put into the Constitution.
Yes. So there's no point putting, establishing separate courts.
No,
So
well, no,
dismissal has got it
Claire,
wrong.
no, 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 Claire, because no, Claire, you have to, no, 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 no. You're not a strategic thinker. Just like in England, you set up little mini Sharia courts before you make the whole country Sharia. Just like the Jews have done with the Bet Dins in America, you set up mini Noahide courts all over the place, and you use that to start gaining political clout, to get your foot in the door, to make political inroads, to start getting attention, and then eventually you jump from that. You use that as a spin campaign into putting the no hide laws into the Constitution. You're
I
just
guess
never
there are
going
not
to.
enough no hides to create the demand for no hide courts.
Yeah, it does. There could be one Noah Hide. It doesn't matter if there's two Noah Hides. You got to set up a Noah Hide court. It's about it's
You
it's
can
about the
say that, but don't
it's the
leave no
principle of the
energy.
it's the principle of the matter. Well, look, we have a prophet here that's now telling us build the courts, build the courts, build the courts, and people are starting to listen to him.
Which
So
which prophet?
Alan Cecil,
Who declared him prophet?
I did
When?
now.
Okay, what brought this on?
Well, I think that he is a prophet. I think that he sees the way that this is going to go. And I think that he has a very smart idea. And I think that I've never met anyone, rabbi or Gentile, that's as gung ho about actually accomplishing Noahidism as him. I've never,
Just,
he's really gung ho about accomplishing it.
I'm quite gung ho in my own way. Well, why don't you declare me prophet?
Because secular Quranism is not any. You're the prophet of secular
I'm actually being
Quranism.
helpful to
You,
you, and
you're,
well, I mean, if you're going to declare somebody prophet, why don't you declare me prophet? Come
oh,
on,
he's-
loyalties. I can
because
help
she.
you even more. I mean, because if you
Oh,
declare me
see,
prophet
loyalties. We
and
were just
I
talking about
accept
that. Yeah, that's so
this prophet,
Gentile. That's
you're the streaming
you're so
partner.
Gentile. Loyalty.
What?
Remember, we were just talking about loyalty yesterday. We were just talking about loyalty, and you're so
Yeah, yeah.
Gentile, Claire. You haven't
Well, I mean, it's
Judaized.
useful, isn't it?
You haven't Judaized, Claire.
No, no, Jews talk about loyalty. Everybody talks about loyalty. If you have a group, then you have members, and you want your members
Yeah,
to
but you're
be
not
loyal
loyal.
to
You're not loyal
the
just
group.
because you're not loyal just because you're in the group. You're loyal for principles. Is the point. And that's the point. That's the difference between a Jew and a Gentile, is that a Jew is just loyal to the principle and not to the
I am
person.
loyal
Or
to the principles. I'm loyal to the
no, but
principles of secular
I know.
Quranism.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'll say you're the prophet of secular Quranism, but you're not the pro. I mean, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not in awe of that. I'm not. Fine, you're the prophet of secular Quranism, but I don't think that that's. Well, I mean, I think it's an interesting title, and I think that without Noahidism, it would have potential. And I told you I'm going to start Quranic Noahidism to compete, so I'll just take secular Quranism and just say, well, you can follow the laws of the Quran, but you just have to make sure each one of the seven Noahide laws is accomplished first. And if there's any conflict, then the Noahide laws win.
That would mean having to execute blasphemers and idolaters, right?
Yep.
Okay, and that would come into conflict with the First Amendment.
Well,
Yes,
that's why you choose. That's why you change the Constitution in about 30 to 40 years from now, after you've been prepping the soil, Noahidizing the populace.
right. Well, I'm pleased that you have declared your intention good and early about abolishing the First Amendment. I doubt that would go down very well with your fellow Americans.
Okay, let's start reading. So today we're going to be talking about discipline, Maria Jaramillo Niel. Let's see how. So everyone that we tried, relating it back to today's reading. So we're going to see how probably undisciplined the Gentiles are. I don't know what this has to do with you being an ugly homophobic witch, but this is actually a long chapter. One of the best illustrations wherewith to contrast your adaptability to discipline, our lack of it, is to be found in the difference between your behavior in church and our behavior in our own unmodernized synagogue, the Orthodox synagogue. In church, all is order and decorum, rhythm and regime. In the synagogue, all is chaos. In the church, leaders and responses are carefully prepared, carefully followed, and observed. It is clean and neat, charming and exact. You behave well. You do as you are told in mass. You create esprit de corps in the church. There is a suggestive, hypnotizing decay in the trained correctness of your service. In the synagogue, all is disorder. We talk during service, we answer out of turn, and when we answer in one mass, one begins earlier, another ends later. It is Babel itself. People walk in and out. Some take longer than others to get through a certain prayer, and the ones who read more rapidly chat in the internal part of the congregation, chat in the interval. Part of the congregation is standing, part sitting, some wearing prayer shawls, others do not, and the prayer shawls are not all alike. Sometimes there is so much babbling that the voice of the cantor or leader cannot be heard. One of you at service One of you at our services would be amazed. Our own young generation, which has picked up our ways, is disgusted. And the last couple of generations has been reformed synagogues conducted on your models. Taking this illustration as one fairly may of model discipline and lack of it, we may say it is often said, you Gentiles are disciplined and we Jews are not. And it is not in church and synagogue alone that we find this contrast. It persists equally clear cut in all branches of organized life. Compare any Gentile institution with the uncorrupted corresponding institution in Jewish life, and you will observe it. At your secular public assemblies, the same decency and unified restraint. At ours, the same scrambling irregularity. Jewish meetings never begin on time, never end on time. In your clubs and societies, order and harmony. In our noise, disorder, and wastage. Your programs are observed with fair strictness. Our programs are more point depart. In your homes, common, even systematization. In ours, boisterous affections, formlessness. And despite much effort, we cannot introduce your rhythmic exercise of discipline into our life and retain our individuality. We can imitate you excellently, produce a substitute as good as the original, but the institution that no longer has Jewish spirit. It is a Gentile institution artificially maintained by Jews, like our Reformed temples, and in these the Jews gradually learn to present a Gentile exterior. But wherever we are unrestrained, Jews Jewish, we shock you by our uncouthness. We lack social grace, the discipline and distinguished social grace of high society, as well as the mean and spiritless punctiliousness of your middle classes. In the colleges, in the street, in the surface cars, in the clubs, in the army, we betray ourselves. Indeed, your very breaches of discipline differ from ours by a certain conscious rebelliousness, which is partly homage, our breach of discipline, our offhand, unconscious insolence. Hmm. Well, I would have to say that I don't know if this is a trait I want to take on from the Jews so much. If he's saying that they're undisciplined, disorganized, and stuff, I don't know if that's
And
necessarily
then always
100.
late.
Yes, and always late and not very respectful of like an environment where somebody's trying to make a point, such as in a synagogue, not sitting and listening politely. These kinds of things don't seem very good to me. So I'm not going to take this on. So I don't know how to relate this back to Maria other than, you know, other than to say that, oh, I know how to relate this. Oh, and she's a heterosexual. So, as I said, Judaism is the most heterosexual religion on earth. And so, Orthodox Jews are the most heterosexual behaving people on earth. And so, yeah, heterosexuals are disorganized and sloppy and rude and uncouth and undisciplined and stuff like that. And so this represents her. So she's okay. I'm a Judaized Gentile, I say, but I take on only the virtues, not the vices. But Maria probably only, as a heterosexual, only takes on their vices, but not their virtues. So she's probably a disorganized mess, you know.
Hmm.
Okay, let's keep reading. And carrying this still further, we Jews, the most clannish of people, are helplessly disorganized. We have neither achieved comparative unity, not even in a single territory, much less throughout the world. All our organizations are small, but never too small to be unwieldy because of dissension, and worse than dissension, because of unmeanability to regular discipline. To those who have known the comparativeness to those who have known the comparative evenness of your organizations, political, religious, social, commercial, we are an unsightly people, and every effort to impose this sense of form on us accentuate, accentuates our formlessness. This distinction between us against point again points to the root difference between us, your triviality, and our seriousness. The fact is, of course, that in true discipline and effectiveness, we are by no means your inferiors. No one would dream of asserting that our religion is no more effective than yours in compelling obedience or in perpetuating itself. The mere fact that we have persisted for 80 generations in maintaining a racial and spiritual identity in the face of so much persecution and more significant of so much infiltration of blood bespeaks essential discipline of amazing rigor and power. Disorganized as we are, we have outlived the most ably organized nations. We have failed to imitate the Roman legion or the order of Jesus. We have survived the first and shall not doubt outlive the second. We have not your skill, your German or English or American skill in wheeling perfectly vast masses of perfectly subordinate men. Yet I have no doubt that when Germany and England and America will long have lost their present identity or name or purpose, we shall still be strong in ours. For future discipline should always be seen in relation to a purpose. Your discipline is goose step discipline. It is the hypnotic discipline of imposing rhythms possible only in the absence of the individual discipline. There is hypnotic charm in your discipline, but it is not effective. As soon as the organization crumbles, the individuals are lost. We have never seen the victims of organization. We have never been the victims of organization. Your organization discipline, moreover, is a necessary part of your sport life. Games cannot be conducted without discipline. Discipline is the essence of a game. When two perfectly disciplined beings are opposed, the game is at its best, and the same feeling runs through all your manifestations of life. The game of nationalism, the game of society, the game of commercial success, the most startling and compelling monuments of your Gentile genius are not individual productions, but the production of mass. Most of the wonders of the ancient world were wonders springing out of a great, organized, rhythmic effort of your chief wonders today. The wonders today, those which dominate your general life, are like these: great buildings, great countries, great ships, great wars, the pyramids, the Olympics, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Hanging Gardens, the Eiffel Tower, and the Woolworth Building, the Red Cross, the Catholic Church, Babylon, New York, the Daily Mail. These are the distinctive triumphs of your civilization, the final appeal. And individual ingenuity is subordinated to the production of your mass effects, your disciplined monsters. What single individuals can alone affect players at very similar role in your way of life? Mass and rhythm, teamwork, the game. This is your ideal. So the Gentile, actually, what's good in the Gentile represents the homosexual, right? So whatever's good about the Gentile is homosexual, whatever bad is heterosexual. So all this, organization and stuff, like working as a community, able to organize a community that's very homosexual, and dirty, sloppy communities that can only accomplish things as individuals represents what's heterosexual. And that's why Maria wants homosexuals dedicating their time to the community, because she fucking can't do that, and she can't organize herself because she's a dumb heterosexual. She can't organize with other heterosexuals to create anything like, well, it's not in her essence. They need the gay essence to do that, right? Like, if we're not there pumping that collective greatness into them, then they don't have it. So they parasitize on us. They want to use us. They don't have it. They can't do it themselves. So they want to parasitize off of us. And that's why she wants us to be, you know, celibates working for her. It is not ours. Oh, Claire, are you there?
Here I am, yes.
Okay, let me just see if Stephen J. James came or if anyone's in the chats. Oh, where's the phone? This is interesting. That woman is here. Claire's right about no heights being stupid. They're even dumber than Muslims. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Go. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, who said that?
Amanda.
Oh, I can't read what she's saying. How strange.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad she's supporting my position, though.
It is not ours, and we are impressed only superficially and transiently by those productions. The individual is our climax, as the mass is yours. 100,000 men labored for 20 years to build the Great Pyramid. One man wrote the book of Isaiah. You will answer. One man also wrote Hamlet and the Critique of Pure Reason and the Republic. But I ask, are Plato and Shakespeare and Kant in your life what the Bible, the Talmud, the rabbis are in ours? To our very masses, the Jewish masses, the wonders of the world are Moses, Elijah, and the Rambam, the Vilna Gaon, the Dubna Majid, the Chassid in the neighborhood village. These actually dominate our life. As governments, mass radio exploits, armies, and Woolworths dominate yours. We are the people of the book, but we were the people of the book before a million copies could be printed a single day. This intricability of ours to your discipline is one of our chief and to you most unpleasant characteristics. It is best it is best noticeable in our new arrivals in Western countries. Those who in Eastern ghettos have lived a more nearly Jewish life is much less noticeable in our modernized types, though here still noticeable, for despite our clever imitativeness, we do retain our natural character and cannot hide it consistently, but betray ourselves at intervals. In the colleges, in the army, least here except during the Great War, for in peacetime only in westernized Jews joined the army. For in peace times, only the westernized Jews join the army. In business associations, we irritate and disgust you by our obdurate seeming singularity. We don't fit in properly. We don't keep a straight line on the social or public parade. We don't cheer in unison. We don't bow with the wavering of the wand. We don't play the game. This is comprehensively irritating to the highest degree, and in your irritation you have ascribed these infractions to our savagery. You have said we are not fit for civilization. We have not the ability to subordinate the individual to the community. Or if we have the ability, we have not the desire, not having the ethical impulse. With us, you have said it is every man for himself. We are too impudent individually. We cannot behave as gentlemen should, unobtrusively, submissive to the code, tacit, unassertive, regular. This is what you mean saying we are undisciplined. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, this is true. Yeah, because the ugliness of Gentile culture comes from the heterosexuals. And so, yes, the ugliness of Gentile cultures, I do say, yes, like when heterosexual men were in control, and heterosexual women, supported the order with their willingness. Um, yeah, things were kind of very much less individualistic, and yeah, you were basically, these are just the way things are done, and this is the way everybody is, and if you're not like that, then you're off, and yeah, like that early American politeness and not being aggressive or not being pushy or yeah. But the fact is that we consciously despise the code itself. It is not that we recognize its validity and refuse to submit to it out of individual and selfish reasons. It is rather that the whole game disgusts us, and your seriousness in it most of all. It is to us a ludicrous and not an impressive thing to see 10,000 grown up men, a large proportion of them actually fathers, marching in step up and down a street or across a field. This blaring of the trumpets, this beating of the drums, this left, right, this rhythmic, snappy form fours, this intoxication of united mass movement, which sends you Gentiles frantic with excitement, is a laughable exhibition to us. Foolish Gentiles, we say contemptuously. To us, 10,000 fools are not more impressive than a single fool, where you see the flash of swing ranks, a mighty lifting and falling power magnificence. We see only 10,000 serious faced men engaged in astonishing antics with astonishing skill. Okay, I don't think he should be pooing the Gentiles' abilities to do this. I don't think that this is a quality that should be poo-pooed. I like or degraded. I mean, being able to kind of become a human machine like that altogether is actually useful. And if he's saying that they're not about that, then I don't think that's a good characteristic to take.
Hmm.
What do you think?
You can you say what? So he's denigrating the ability of the Gentile to do what?
To like come together as a public machine and do public marches and rallies and pageantry and all this other kind of stuff.
So he's acknowledging the ability of Gentiles to do it, and he disapproves, or he's saying they can't do it.
No, he's saying he disapproves. He says it's foolish.
So what should they be doing instead?
Well, I guess nothing that needs mass coordination of human beings.
But why? Why is it bad?
I don't know. What he's just saying, it's foolish.
Oh, okay. Well, when you say something, I mean, you should give reasons, when it's not obvious, right? I mean, if you're saying, oh, this thing that Jews do, it's stupid, I would have thought you kind of need to say it, unless it's so obvious, but it's not
Okay,
obvious.
well, bringing this back to Maria Jaramillo, like, okay, this part, okay, whatever the Jew is attacking the Gentiles is obviously homosexual. So the ability to organize the community and have organized mass rallies is probably definitely a homosexual trait in the Gentiles. And this is why homosexuals' houses are so much cleaner, and people like Maria Jaramillo live in heterosexual pig pens where it's just basically a dump and it smells, and she
It
breeds in
sounds like you've
there.
been to her house, and have you?
Well, she's a heterosexual. I don't really need to kind of contemplate that deeply. I mean, I've been inside your houses. I was raised in one.
Well, there might be very house proud heterosexuals and very slovenly homosexuals.
Yeah, but everyone makes fun of homosexuals for being overly organized and overly clean. So, there's a
But there
tendency.
might be atypical homosexuals. I mean, I'm sure there would be a lot
Okay,
of
yeah, there's atypical people, but typically, yeah, homosexuals are known to be overly organized and overly clean, and heterosexuals are okay. And if you were a homosexual, you would feel as though heterosexuals tend to be not clean and not organized. And so, that's just the way it is. And,
as stereotypes go.
yeah, stereotypes, yeah.
Well, it's annoying about the Rebbe's birthday. I mean, I've just been looking at Chabad's Twitter timeline, and it doesn't really say anything about the no-hide laws either. It's like they're afraid of talking about them. Do you get the impression? Uh,
Yes, I do, and that's why I'm telling the rabbis to step the fuck aside, and why I just wrote on my Twitter timeline, not my Twitter timeline, on my Facebook timeline, I was telling the Noahides in India, I said, follow Alan Cecil, fuck the rabbis, set up the Noahide courts yourself. They have personal law in India. Uh, Muslims have courts, Zoroastrians have courts, I think Jains have courts. Anyone can have a court. You could have a Christian court if you wanted to in India. They don't, but they could if they wanted to. And I just told the rabbi, the Noahites to set up Noahide courts. There's 70,000 of them. Set up a Noahide court.
well, they're not going to do that unless there's enough people who, need these courts, right? They're
Well,
not going
it's
to
for
do
the
that.
no, it's for the oh no, Claire. See, you're not look, Claire, if I were a true Noahide, let's just say I was a Noahide and I knew only one other Noahide on this earth, I mean, well, I guess I would need to know more than one other because
Yep, yep. Because then you'd have to, uh, be in it. Okay, you would have to have a dispute with one of them,
yeah, okay. So
and
anyway,
then you'd be
as long as
wanting
there was
to
enough.
resolve.
Okay, so there's about 35,000 Noahides in America. Okay, that's enough if you want to have a court. I know they're spread over, but I mean, if there was like, I know you'd probably have to go like travel. There could only be like, let's say there was one federal Noahide court instead of everyone having a state court because there's just not enough people on the local levels. There was one federal Noahide court. I mean, if I were a Noahide, a true blue Noahide, yes, I would be like, well, there's 35,000 of us, set up a court for the sake of setting up a court so that the government recognizes us, so that we can run our own affairs, so that we can start practicing, so that we can, set precedent. And so that once we finally do get, into the Constitution and the Noahide laws, then our court is already set up and we've been running it for years and years. I do think strategically like that, and I know that there's a purpose in actually getting something done, but you've still not Judaized, and so you don't understand actually the necessity of putting something into physical reality, because that's the Noahide laws in Judaism are about physical reality. Alan Cecil is so about making Noahide courts because he's actually Judaized. He's not just a Noahide. He's not just waiting for the rabbis. He's actually Judaized himself and saying, well, it's about reality. Like, let's get it done in reality. And you're just like, you're still a Gentile, and you're like, well, why would you even bother doing that? It's all
Okay,
like,
okay. If
it's
I
like
were a
pie in the sky
no-hide,
and philosophy. It's pie in the sky philosophy for you. Like, you're building this big, huge castle, and you're like, well, why would you even start on such a low level as one Noahide court? Let's wait until we take over the whole world and then we'll start. No, start now. Start where you can. There's 35,000 of you. Set up a federal Noahide court. Get it going. Don't wait until
but
you
it's
don't need to.
stupid and disorganized.
You don't need to. No, no. I would say you don't need to wait until every single person in America is Noahide and we can vote in a Noahide constitution. Start right now.
Okay, if I were a no-hide, I would try to show the clear blue water between no-hidism and Christianity. And therefore I would be calling out Christians and pointing out their idolatry and basically shaming them.
Well, yes,
Oh,
but you
but I'm already doing it.
yes, but you also need to set up courts.
Okay, I'm just going to ask for things that people can easily do if they wanted to.
Oh wait, excuse me. The Jews have bet dins in America. They set up Jewish courts. They can do it. It's possible. Let the Jews help the Noahides. No, never mind. Don't let the Jews help the Noahides because the Jews are fucking cowards. Let the Noahides follow the Jews' example, take their blueprint, and enact it.
Yeah,
And that's what.
but no heights are stupid. We keep, coming back to the problem of how ignorant and flaky and, well, weak they are.
They're
I
not
mean,
as
they
weak.
are literally, I'm not, being mean, it's like I've given them a chance, I've tried to talk to them, and the
You don't
flaky
even
and
try to talk to them.
stupid.
You want them to be flaky. Claire, they're going to outdo you. So, anyway, let's keep reading. The drill of your regiments, the drill of your colleges, of your social usage, your clubs all impress us alike with their triviality. We do not understand it. Perhaps you will reply that this contempt is merely rationalization. We despise discipline because we lack it, and secretly we aspire to acquire it. But in fact, it is the most secretly disciplined Jew who most heartedly despises your disciplines. It is the modernized Jew who has thrown off the discipline of Orthodox Judaism, who has who comes nearest your spirit. It is the Orthodox Jew, the most Jewish Jew, who least understands you. And it is this Orthodox Jew, this ghetto Jew, whose apparent individualism dis- deprives his mass life of all forms and disciplines. It is this Orthodox Jew who seems of all Jews to be least accessible to your orderliness. It is this Orthodox Jew who nevertheless submits to an amazing discipline unknown to most of you. I've said that the obstinate maintenance of your identity and our religion through 80 generations of oppression bespeaks a rigorous and effective discipline. But what that discipline is in practice, you do not realize. The Orthodox Jew submits to an unrelaxing regime which you Gentiles would find intolerable. It governs him in all his actions from birth to death. It controls and directs with an iron fist his daily occupation. It pervades with obsessive imminence every moment of his time, every moment, every function. The Orthodox Jew begins the day with long prayers, closes it with long prayers. He cannot take a glass of water without a prayer. He cannot justify his physical needs without a prayer. He stops for long intervals, afternoons and evenings to pray. The discipline extended to his relations with his wife and imposes on him the obligation of study. It binds him to daily and hourly usage of language, Hebrew artificially maintained it intersperses his years with numerous fasts and feasts, each with its enormous burden and ritual and tradition. All this over and above the fierce discipline of the world's enmity and contempt, the discipline of mere existence in an alien and unfriendly atmosphere. Much of this religious ritual covers eventualities which you would regard as secular, dietetic laws, sanitary laws, sex laws, social laws, for all life is religious to the Jew, and all life proceeding from God must be governed by him. But when the ritual is reduced to what even you would call the religious, it still presents a bulk of tyranny to you which you would never submit, a discipline which you are incapable of suffering, a discipline which demands incessant vigilance, lest a prayer be omitted, a discipline the details of which it takes years to acquire, and into which one must be trained from childhood. And what is most relevant is this connection is that this discipline is a corporate discipline. It is directed to a common purpose outside of the individual, to the perpetuation of a people through its religion. In our religious ideology, the selfish salvation of the individual soul is a very minor theme. It is, I believe, an acquired dogma, and its irrelevance is provided by its unimportance. Our prayers are largely common prayers. We pay little attention to the afterlife, and even our dreams of an afterlife are associated with the Jewish people as a whole. As individuals, we sometimes pray for personal benefit, but so infrequently that we could omit these prayers without changing the bulk of our ritual. Most of the prayers are prayers of glory, glorification. They link the people as a whole to God. They rededicate the people as a whole to God's service. They praise God for their burdens He has placed upon us, and with passionate interaction, they thank Him for having made us different from you. Yes, one thing that I took from Jews is not to worry about the afterlife. I don't think about it. It does not need a Jewish scholar. It needs only an intelligent Jew who has lived in an Orthodox or semi Orthodox environment to appreciate that all this tyranny of discipline was bent to one end, to our preservation as a distinct and separate people. We feel that we are not merely different from you at points, it is a totality and difference of separation. We have carried out with us into exile the complete atmosphere of our national life. Our holy festivals are largely national, and even in those which are predominantly religious, there is the continuous minor theme of our separate nationalism. One holiday celebrates the liberation of the Jewish people from Egypt, another deliverance of the people from the Asiatic Greek oppressors, another the confusion of the national enemy. Still others celebrate the time of the Palestinian harvest. The irony and tragedy of it, with appropriate prayers and ceremonies, and even in our pure religious festivals, the memory of our national institutions, our temple, our hereditary priesthood maintains an unbroken background of suggestion. And with these recurrent climaxes in our religious life dominated by the national consciousness, the general tenor of all our religion repeats this theme from day to day. The discipline of our religion, of our Jewishness, is a corporate discipline, the subjection of the individual to the mass. I repeat this to remind you that, contrary to your accusations, the intractability of the Jews to your form of discipline does not spring from individualism or from a lack of social consciousness. We are disciplined more bitterly than you, and we bear the discipline without the assistance of narcotic rhythms. We bear our burden like civilized adults. Nor do I say any condition nor do I see any condition between this fierce instance on separate national existence and our dedication to a universal idea. We believe and feel that for such an ideal, we alone, as a people, possess the special adaptiveness the Orthodox Jew bases it on divine will and choice. Others, like myself, know not on what to base it. A special racial psychology, the result of inbreeding, the result of accident, but believe in it nonetheless. We shall not further that ideal by losing we shall not further that ideal by losing our identity. To mingle with you and be lost in you would mean to destroy the aptitude forever. Thus the universal ideal and national identity are inextricably bound up. To the maintenance of this high union we have given consciously, seriously, without kings and courts, without medals and reviews and orders, without cheering and without drills, a bitter and obstinate devotion more exacting than anything you have known, in its deliberate effect more successful. Okay, I don't think that it's necessarily good to think you're better than the Gentiles because it seems incapable of you for you to organize on their level. That doesn't seem like a very good reason to think you're better than someone. I mean, I do understand. I do understand. I do understand. Hold on one second. Let me just do something. Hold on. Jamo? Hmm. Okay. Well, we're waiting for Claire. Well, yeah, it does. It does. So bringing this back to Maria Jaramillo Niel. Um, yeah, you know what? Like heterosexuals do need the homosexual spirit to organize their communities because they only care about their own families. The man only cares about his wife, and the wife the kids, and they're all about their nuclear family, and they're not about the bigger, larger community, or they're more about their nuclear families. Whereas gays and the pink swastika, said that gays are more about the bigger community, and that's true. And so, she wants me to become a celibate so that I spend all my time working to organize her lazy, stupid ass instead of getting fucked. And that's just not going to be happening for anyone anymore. And actually, I'm going to say, and get fucked, yes, but start organizing like alternative selective breeding and finding ways to get rid of the heterosexuals because we really don't need them because they're disgusting.
Did I miss anything when I was in the kitchen?
Well, yes, yes, yeah, no, not much.
Okay.
Mm, nothing except that he seems to be disgusted with the fact that Gentiles can organize on a mass scale.
Is he saying that Jews can't? I mean, that's really extraordinary because because the whole Gentile narrative of Jews is that they're really well organized and that's why they oppress us and always have one over us. I mean, isn't that,
I think I think their strength comes in that instead of having one large organization, they have many, 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 many small organizations that are very efficient and that are very dedicated and they have like a whole bunch of specialists. Like even though their organizations are small in number and they don't organize into one big whole, they have all specialists on both sides of the aisle and they have they have very special poisons instead of just going after you with a single weapon. They have all these little specialized ones.
can you give examples?
Hmm. Okay. No, there's always some kind of Jewish law organization. Okay, like instead of there being one completely well-known Jewish legal association, there's many small ones, but they there's many small ones, but they together their synergy in total gives the Jews a lot of power.
I think all this talk about Jewish power is, I mean, I wonder how, ordinary Jews feel about it. I mean, do they feel powerful? I guess on some days they think, oh, I hear we're powerful, therefore we are. And then on a bad day, they think that we're not powerful at all. Everybody hates us. We're all going to die. You know, I don't, you know, the only thing that makes Gentiles think Jews are powerful is this sort of view that they have of them, and also the Christian narrative, like, well, we worship a Jew. That means Jews are powerful because we worship one of them, and maybe that is the thing that they know that something made them worship a Jew, and that um, the Muslim the God Muslims believe in also the God of Israel. And so, it's all kind of Jewish. The universe is kind of Jewish. But I mean, as for whether individual Jews are really powerful, we don't really know. I mean, there's no pecking order, no objective way of deciding who is powerful, and who is powerful today may be cancelled tomorrow.
Mm, well, I don't think Orthodox Jew is getting canceled anytime soon.
Well, I don't think they feel powerful in Israel because they basically had to back down because of the Gentile organized rallies against, the social conservatives of Israel um, who want to reform the Israeli Supreme Court. So they've had to back down because of all the strikes and threats from pilots and police and all kinds of things. So I imagine the religious Jews of Israel will be thinking, we are powerless. The Gentile have won over us again. Look at what they've just done.
Well, yeah, but they have a long-term plan. They're not worried about immediacy. I mean, they have a longer term plan. They have a better breeding plan. They have higher numbers in breeding. These people are like, in the long run, the Orthodox win out. Not right now, but in the long run.
Do you think Jews in Israel would choose the Noahide laws or secular Quranism?
Well, neither because they can't become Noahides either way. So it would be neither
Why
because
not? Of course they can. They can just decide, I'm going to marry a Gentile. I'm going to convert to Islam or Christianity or whatever.
I thought no, they told us that no, we asked the rabbi and then the rabbi said I forget which rabbi it was said that a Jew is not eligible to become a Gentile.
Oh, there's no one to declare. Okay, a Jew can become a Gentile simply, well, not immediately. Obviously, you'll be Jew until you're dead. If your mother was born a Jew, because it's a racial thing.
No,
But
it's not. That's not true. You can leave Judaism even if your mother was a Jew. If you were born a Jew and you don't live the life of a Jew and you're not Orthodox Jew, you're no longer a Jew just because your mother was a Jew.
who says that?
That's religious Judaism. That's halakha. A Jew is not somebody, just your mom was Jewish and you can go do whatever you want and you're a Jew and be a homosexual and you're a Jew.
Of course you are. You just be a heretical Jew, like David. I mean, are you saying David's not a Jew?
Not really. No, he's not a Jew.
I'm saying he is a Jew, even though proper Jews with both parents who are Jewish, would consider him low status because technically, halakhically, he's a Jew because his mother is a Jew, even though his father isn't. But if he's not going to marry and reproduce and have Jewish children, he will die A, childless, and B, if he does have children, they wouldn't be Jewish if he doesn't marry a Jewess. And because he is low status, they would marry him. In fact, mamzers are, or mamzerim, I should say, are only allowed to marry other mamzerim. I mean, you know this rule, don't you?
No.
So basically, if Jews are not supposed to marry Gentiles, but they do anyway, and they have offspring. So Orthodox Jews will call them mamzers, people who should not have been born. So that they come in categories like the product of a mixed marriage of Jew and Gentile, be a offspring of an incestuous union, offspring of an adulterous union, and basically the people who should not have been born if their parents were acting correctly, and they are supposed to marry other people like them. So no respectable Jew would marry people like that. And I suppose they would be in effect rejected by their community and have no choice but to assimilate into Gentile culture, and in this way the Jewish community washes its hands off them, and that's how it works, I think.
Mm, I see. Hmm.
I mean, they have these rules to basically get rid of people that they don't want. Because obviously, what's not going to happen is there's some official group of mamzerim saying, let's have a marriage bureau for mamzerim, because nobody would just want anything to do with this group, not even the mamzerim. So they'll just have to leave their community. It's like saying, here's a class of untouchables who are technically Jewish. If you want to, if you're one of them, you have to marry one of, somebody like themselves, and there they are. But I mean, I guess if you're in that position, you're not going to, join that club or declare membership of it, and therefore you will just have to assimilate with the Gentiles, who are, well, not so fussy about this sort of thing.
Um.
And the thing about Gentiles, I wanted to ask about whether you agree with me, which is that Gentiles are stupid because they don't think ahead. I mean, it's always short term, right? And
Mhm.
basically, if you're atheist, then you think in the short term, as opposed to somebody who believes in God, who is planning for the afterlife.
Yeah, but Jews tell you not to really focus on the afterlife, and I think that's a good idea.
I thought they were always telling each other to focus on their olam haba.
No, well, this is like the 15th time I've read Jews say don't focus on the afterlife. It's not the point of the religion, that's not really relevant to anything. It's just, yes, there's an afterlife, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
What you're not here to talk about.
No, that's not what Judaism is here to talk about.
Are you sure?
That's not what you should be focusing on. I mean, it's there and you should learn it, but it's not like you should be like the afterlife, that you're not doing things to get into the afterlife. You're not being a good person to get into the afterlife. That's not your reason for doing it.
What is it then?
Well, if you're doing it to get into the afterlife, then you're a Gentile, Claire. If you're just doing what God says for a reward, then that's disgusting. Like,
Then why would you be doing anything? I mean, as
well,
far
you're
as I
doing it
know,
because you're doing it because God told you to do it. That's why.
yeah. So
but not because you're
You're
getting a
doing it.
reward. You're not because you're getting a reward. You should be doing God what God says, whether you're getting a reward or not.
There must be an incentive system, and there is
No,
because
no. It okay. Then you're immoral, Claire, because then you're not following these laws because you think they're good. You're just doing it because you want a reward.
yeah, well, that's the only way to incentivize people and saying, and that's why Jews talk about their olam haba. That's what these rabbis talk about. If you do this, you will have sacrificed your olam haba.
Yeah, but they
Well,
won't go
you
to
don't listen to
hell.
their sermon, so that's why you don't know. But I mean, they do talk about it, like so and so has sacrifice their olam haba for doing this or that, committing this
Well,
or that
yes,
sin.
but okay, yes, but you're not. You're not going to find Jews saying, if you want to get into Olam Haba, like, that's not why, that's not the reason to do it. Like, it's not like in Christianity where it's like this focus on like, everything that you're doing now is like, for your afterlife and, no, it's just you're doing it not to get into the next world, but you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. Or because God told you, even if you don't know it's the right thing to do, you're just doing it because God told you to do it.
Yeah, and therefore, if God told you to do it, then it's the right thing to do, which is why Muslims are more likely to be suicide bombers and liberal atheists because they believe that they will be rewarded by God in the afterlife with 72 virgins or whatever the hell they believe in. And it's like atheists just won't be, you can't get them to do it because they think, well, I don't want to die. And if you're going to make me do something, you have to give me money. And to make it work, I have to believe you.
Well, maybe Islam would be a lot better off if it was more like Noahidism and focused on making the world a paradise now rather than
Which is
worrying
what
about
it
the.
is. I mean, that's what it says. It's like all our rules make sense. It will prolong your civilization if you respected marriage and family values. Because, I mean, all these world religions are about, making people marry when they're quite young and have children and stay together for the sake of the children because it's all about promoting marriage and family values. And Christianity is the weakest link because Westerners don't believe in all that. They really don't. They just pretend to. It's disgusting, but that's the truth. I keep asking all these people. Some of them are my friends, and they get all upset with me because, what, like, well, if you believe in God, then you should be concerned that you're practicing idolatry. And, and then they say, oh, but it's not idolatry if Jesus is God. And then, oh, how is Jesus God? And then they go away and some never come back. And they don't even believe in it because all the time I've known them, they've been telling me that they're atheists or agnostic, and you know, and they can't. It's like I've known them for all this time, and I've given them all this time to think of a better idea than secular Quranism. And yeah, quite a few of them are elderly to mature, and and I guess that their short term objective is to die before having to officially acknowledge the failure of Christo liberalism. That's their short term thinking, and yeah, they don't care about you know the next generation because the mostly unmarriageable bachelors, they know nobody's going to marry them, but they hate Jews, they hate Muslims, and therefore they're not going to, admit that their stupid Christocrat is Christocrat. They won't admit it. And so, these are really neurotic people who are atheists pretending to be Christian. Why would you do such a thing? Because they're Islamophobes. Why would an atheist pretend to believe that Jesus is God? Why the fuck would they do that?
Well, maybe because Well, okay, it might not. Look, the only way I would say that's happening is that some atheists are maybe smart enough to know that most people are not smart enough to be atheists or agnostics. And so most people need religion. So if you don't provide a religion for them, they're going to take whatever they can get. And maybe these people feel as though people operate better on Christianity, on a secular worldview, than they do under Islam. And so maybe if they say, well, if we have to give them a religion because we have to, because otherwise they're just going to take whatever any religion the stupid people are pushing, maybe it's better for them to be Christian because then maybe they're less crazy and a little bit more open to secularism and a little bit more open to liberalism. And so therefore we can control them a little bit better. And so maybe that's why they're doing it.
Well, over the centuries, basically Christianity was replaced by liberalism. I mean, isn't that what's really happened? I mean,
Well,
they
yeah, but if you want to maintain a liberal social order, Christianity is better than Islam.
hmm, because it has no rules.
Right. Yeah, so it's easy, it's more pliant.
Yeah, because basically over the centuries, it's what the church has been saying to the subjects of Christian monarchs is shut up and pray to Jesus and follow the laws of the land, and you won't get executed or burned at the stake. And this was basically what they were told to do until they no longer believed in it, and until they rejected monarchy, and that was that began with the American Republic, because it never happened before, had it? I mean, there'd been no successful revolutions against monarchy. Well, actually, well, okay, there was an English Revolution when Charles I was beheaded, and briefly there was a republic, and then Cromwell, who led the revolution, died, and he could only think of leaving his position to his son, and I guess the English thought, well, he's treating this republic as a monarchy, and we're not having any of that. We'd rather, if we're going to have a king, we're going to have a real king. So Charles II was restored to the monarchy. But ever since then, the British monarchs minded their P's and Q's because they knew what could happen to them if they pissed off too many people. And that's why we now have a constitutional monarchy. I mean, they have no choice. Yeah? They have to agree to all these changes because nobody is going to agree to them having, anything like the powers they used to have again. I mean, nobody's going to make Charles the dictator of Britain. I mean, they just like him then, maybe to throw a few rotten tomatoes at him from time to time. But there's no real purpose to the monarchy other than to help the Americans keep their empire um, together, because the Australians are basically, Australia is strategically important to the Americans, and the Australians they're also a bit stupid. I mean, they should already know that an elected Australian Prime Minister can be dismissed by their Governor General. And the Governor General is it's a colonial post. So the Governor General basically answers to the monarch, the British monarch, and can dismiss any Australian Prime Minister. And that was what happened in 1975 with Gough Whitlam. And it's like the Australians don't get it, or they've forgotten about it, they don't want to think about it. And recently, the most the latest Australian Prime Minister has probably had his arm twisted and was told not to conduct a referendum on whether Australia wanted to become a republic or remain a monarchy. So I guess long enough for World War III to start. Are you snoring?
No, I'm not snoring. Just we have to mess up everybody's plans with. I'm messing up everyone's plans with Noahidism. I'm gonna mess up World War III because if everyone just comes under the Noahide code, there won't be a war. So I don't want
Well,
there
it
to.
has to happen quickly, and you then you'd say, "Oh, it's going to happen after I'm dead." No, you have to become a secular Quranist.
No, I'm not becoming a secular
Okay, so
Quranist.
how is it going to work under your scheme of making everybody no hide? How?
Well, I'm saying that World War. Look, we're already moving towards Noahidism. We could rapidly get the leadership to work with the Zionists on a Noahide pact, and so the leadership are all together, and then just trickle it down to the masses over time.
I don't understand. What do you? I don't understand your
Because you're
plan.
because you're a Gentile.
Well, you need to explain it. I mean, I'm sure no Jew understands your point.
Of course, well, I'm just following their. No, they understand my point. They're just too cowardly to do it the way. Oh no, they understand it because they're telling the Noahides not to do it. But it's not that they don't understand it. It's just that they don't want it.
Yeah, because they're
Or they
cowards.
don't want it. They don't want it to be as crafty as the way that I'm doing it. That they don't want it. They want. Look, they don't want anyone suspecting that this is anything dangerous for another 30, 40 years. They don't. They really want to go uber slow, like real slow. And I'm trying to like speed it up, and they're like, yikes.
Yeah, and you need to support secular Quranism to make your point. You need to expose their cowardice and hypocrisy and their failure.
No, because I can just do it the Alan Cecil way by being a Noahide and doing it myself.
So you are becoming you identify as no hide. You're
No,
going to
I don't.
become.
Not really, but I can act like I am one. Let me tell you
I
something.
just
That
don't see how you're going to make it quicker. Well, I mean, I just don't see how your plan is
just by
going to make.
exposure, all I need to do is talk about the Noahide. Every time you talk about the Noahide laws, you either create a new Noahide apologist, or an anti-Noahide. Every time that this subject comes up, you either converted someone into some kind of camp.
Okay, with three people watching now, and nobody taking seriously your no hidism because they haven't heard of it, and the
Oh,
mainstream media
stop
has.
saying that, Claire. Do you know how many I go on Facebook all the time now? Do you know when's the last time I wrote something about the no hide laws and somebody asked me what is that? I mean, people know about what it is now. It's not that nobody's ever heard of it anymore. You can't really say that.
Just talking about your followers and your Facebook friends. Of course, they know about it
No,
because
there's
that's
people
what
that
you
no, there's people
mentioned
that.
about what their
Well,
names.
first of all, I have 5,000 Facebook friends. Okay, I'm at the max of Facebook friends. So but no, these are people that I've posted on other people's comments, things, and people that I'm not friends with me know what I am and discuss it with me. And when they ask what is it, I just post it to the stopnohidelaw.blogspot.com, and then they read it. But it's not that unknown of a topic anymore. It's people are not that uninformed.
Well, I'm just not persuaded that anybody is going to get excited about no hides. They might get excited if the media decided to demonize them, but
No,
they're
the
no
media is not
cunts.
going to demonize them. The media is going to make them look good.
Why would they be doing that?
Because why would they be doing that? Because the powers that be want them to do that.
How would it suit the powers that be to?
Because the powers that be are on the side of Noahide.
Why would they be on the side of no
Well,
hygiene?
because they've already proved it since the president and the Congress said that Noahide. Look, Noahide has been declared the foundation of American civilization. Obviously, the government supports Noahide law.
Well, not really. If they've diluted it out of existence because you just said how annoyed you were but by that
No, but that
proclamation
doesn't mean
by
these.
Biden,
I know, but
we
these.
said nothing about the no-eyed laws.
Look, it's already in there. The proclamation's already been made. They don't.
And
They're
nobody gets it. No normal person gets it.
well. That's because the elite get it. The people who are
Are
actually
you sure?
the people who are actually running the country. Do you think Chabad didn't explain this to Ronald Reagan and
But he's
Bush
dead.
and
Dead.
Bush and Clinton and George W. Bush the junior and to Trump and to Biden?
Yeah, there's a lot of hot air, right? A lot of hot air and
A lot of hot
empty
air about a very
words.
no,
Like
not
you
empty words.
said,
This is a very serious topic, Claire. This is a whole ideology. This is not hot air. This is a way of life. This is a legal system to run the earth.
we
That's
can't find a single decent no-hi to talk to.
like,
You're
well,
the
I
only one.
no, I
You're the
excuse
only one, and you're not even a sincere no-hide.
I don't go. Excuse me. I haven't gone crossing the whole earth looking for no hides to talk to. That's not been my
I mean,
agenda.
you have 5,000 friends. You can't find a single no-hide who is
They
a
won't talk
compass
to me.
mentis.
They won't talk. Why would a no hide talk to me?
They've got shit for brains, right? I mean, that's what they have, shit for brains. Because they're Islamophobes. Because if you were a sensible Gentile, you would not be, looking to rabbis who can't agree on anything to make your laws for you that would abolish the First Amendment. They must be totally shit for brains.
No, they just have principles unlike you.
No, I can't even find one. And Alan
They
Cecil
don't, they
won't
have
talk to
principles
anybody
just
because he
like
doesn't want to
unlike
be.
you, unlike Maria Jaramillo Niel. They have principles. They actually like stand for something.
Can't even find one to where this
Well, I
claim
haven't
is
been
totally
looking, and
wrong.
neither of you. You haven't even looked for one, Claire. So shut
I
up. You
have. I
haven't.
keep asking
Oh
you.
no, you keep asking me to go to a community who absolutely hates me to find
No,
someone for me
no,
to
I just
talk
want
to.
I just want you to add me to one of the most active no hide group.
Well, I don't know which ones are the most active because I don't really go in there. I'm part of them, but I mean, there's only one other Noahide I talk to besides Alexander Nelson was one and I left. There's one that I introduced to you once a long time ago, and he doesn't like me, and I just fight with him on Facebook sometimes. And then there's another one that I'm pseudo friendly with now, but he hasn't been answering me anymore since I told him I read Alan Cecil. Well, he's not
Oh, he
talking.
doesn't like Alan Cecil.
No, he likes Alan Cecil, but he didn't read Secular by Design. He likes Alan Cecil's blog, but he hadn't read Secular by Design. When I read it, I told him what Secular Design was all about, and he hasn't responded to me because he's probably scared about. And I told him that I was going to start spreading Secular by Design. He knows my plan. I mean, he probably doesn't like support. He wants to go faster than the rabbis do. He says there's no need for any Sanhedrin or rabbis to implement the Noahide laws. I mean, he wants to go faster than them, but he doesn't want to go as fast as I am. He's a little, even the Noahides are a little bit trashy, and I don't even think they want to go full steam ahead like that quickly. They want to go faster than the rabbis, but they don't want to go at my speed.
Okay, if I were no hide and I wanted to go quickly, I'd be having a go at the Christians and saying it's all your fault. The, you know,
Well, they do. They do. They
I,
go into Go into their Facebook groups. They post anti-Christian shit all day. They have leaving Christianity for Torah. It's for Noahides. It's for ex-Christians who became Noahides. They attack Christianity all day long.
Come on, find me one. Find me one.
Go, sir. It's so easy. Just look up Noahide on Facebook.
Yes, I
And
do. I get asked. Noah, it's heavily censored.
what is heavily censored?
AskNoah.org, run by Michael Schulman.
About what? Ask him what?
Ask him anything. I guess he's just inviting you to ask questions about Noahidism, right?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, Claire, I will. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second.
And they just talk about really obscure shit. Is it prohibited to have livestock castrated, such as horses? What is 21st March? So it's a dead Facebook group anyway.
Well,
Like
find
nobody
one that's
goes.
more active.
Okay, I want you to find me one that you say, oh, it's everywhere, and I know that it's so easy. Well, find it for me. You're on Facebook now, aren't you? Find
No,
me a
not
group.
right now. I'll send it to you later. Hold on. Give me 1 second. You ready to go? No? You're not hungry? Okay. Okay. Never mind then. I guess I'm gonna stay on with you. I thought I was gonna go out eat, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Claire,
Okay, I'm just looking at it. It's just so stupid and useless, and it's just women saying, with their heads covered and trying to look pretty, and it's like it's hopeless. You can't even find me a decent no hide. You can't. They're all so stupid.
mm. Okay, Claire, with that, I'm going to make this an early show because I am a little bit tired and I'm hungry and I can't eat yet, so I want to rest my hunger away.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for coming. And Maria, if you listen to the end, you're a total bitch and I hate you, so goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.